హాయ్ అండి, అందరికీ నమస్కారం. నేను మీ వేణుగోపాల్ రెడ్డి ఫ్రమ్ జోష్ ఇన్నోవేషన్స్ ప్రైవేట్ లిమిటెడ్, జోష్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఆఫ్ ఫారెన్ లాంగ్వేజెస్, ఎడ్యునైన్ కెరియర్ గైడెన్స్ సంయుక్తంగా మనము ఈ సిరీస్లో ఒక్కొక్క డిపార్ట్మెంట్ల వారీగా ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్తో మాట్లాడే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తూ ఉన్నాం. ఎందుకంటే ఈరోజు సిఎస్సి ఉన్నటువంటి ఒక డైలమా సిచ్యువేషన్స్లో చాలామంది పేరెంట్స్ ఏరోస్పేస్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ గురించి, అదేవిధంగా ఏరోనాటికల్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ డీటెయిల్స్ గురించి మాకు చాలా క్లియర్గా చెప్పండి అని చెప్తూ ఉన్నారు. జనరల్గా ఒక 3-4 ఇయర్స్ బ్యాక్ అంత ఎక్కువ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ అంటే అప్పుడు కూడా ఉండేది, కానీ ఇప్పుడున్నంత ఎక్కువ క్యూరియాసిటీ ఏరోస్పేస్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ మీద లేకుండే. ఇప్పుడున్నటువంటి పరిస్థితుల్లో ఏరోస్పేస్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ అనేది మోస్ట్ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్టర్ బ్రాంచ్గా బీటెక్లో తయారైనటువంటి ఈ పరిస్థితుల్లో దీనికి సంబంధించినటువంటి ఒక ఎక్స్పర్ట్తో డిస్కషన్ ఉంటే మీ డౌట్స్ని క్లారిఫై చేసినట్టు ఉంటుందనే ఉద్దేశంతో ఈరోజు డాక్టర్ ఉగుర్ గువెన్, సీనియర్ అకాడమిక్ అండ్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్ అట్ GD Goenka University, గురుగ్రామ్, ఇండియా. అంతేకాకుండా సార్ వచ్చేసి ఈ యూనివర్సిటీలో సెంటర్ ఫర్ ఏరోస్పేస్ అండ్ ఎనర్జీ స్టడీస్కి డైరెక్టర్గా ఉన్నారు. ఏరోస్పేస్ ఇంజనీరింగ్లో సీనియర్ ప్రొఫెసర్గా ఉన్నారు. అదేవిధంగా GD Goenka యూనివర్సిటీలో ఇంటర్నేషనల్ అఫైర్స్ అండ్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ అడ్మిషన్స్ అండ్ మార్కెటింగ్ డైరెక్టర్గా ఉన్నారనమాట. ఒకసారి సార్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ కానీ పరిశీలించినట్లయితే సార్ ఒక ఏరోస్పేస్ ఇంజనీరింగ్లో డాక్టరేటు, అదేవిధంగా ఒక న్యూక్లియర్ ఇంజనీర్ కూడా MSc న్యూక్లియర్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ చేశారు. 28 ఇయర్స్ ఆఫ్ ప్రొఫెషనల్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ సార్కి అనేది ఉందన్నమాట. సో ఈయన యొక్క స్పెషలైజేషన్ ఏంటంటే న్యూక్లియర్ రాకెట్ ప్రొపల్షన్. ఇప్పుడు మనము ఇస్రోలో రాకెట్ పైకి పోయేటప్పుడు రాకెట్ ప్రొపల్షన్ టెక్నాలజీని ఉపయోగించి మనం రాకెట్స్ అనేది ప్రయోగిస్తూ ఉంటాం. అదేవిధంగా ఇంటర్స్టెల్లార్ ట్రావెల్లో సార్ యొక్క ఎక్స్పర్టైజ్ ఉంది. ఇంటర్స్టెల్లార్ ట్రావెల్ అంటే డిఫరెంట్ ప్లానెట్స్ మధ్య ట్రావెల్ చేసేదానికి అవసరమైనటువంటి టెక్నాలజీస్ ఏదైతే ఉన్నాయో దాని మీద సార్ వర్క్ చేయడం జరిగింది. అంతేకాకుండా సార్కి చాలా పెద్ద ఇంటర్నేషనల్ ఎక్స్పోజర్ కూడా ఉంది. నాసా మరియు ఇంటర్నేషనల్ బాడీస్లో సారు డిఫరెంట్ అసోసియేషన్స్తో వర్క్ చేస్తూ ఉన్నారు. సో ఇండస్ట్రీ లీడర్షిప్స్, ప్రొమీథస్ స్పేస్ యూకే లిమిటెడ్ అని చెప్పేసి దీనికి సిఇఓగా ఉన్నారు. సార్ ఒక యూకే సిటిజన్ కూడా. సో హీ యాక్ట్స్ ఎన్ అడ్వైజర్ టు సెవరల్ ఏరోస్పేస్ కంపెనీస్ అండ్ స్టార్టప్స్కి అడ్వైజరీగా బెల్త్రిక్స్ ఏరోస్పేస్ అండ్ ఫీనిక్స్ స్పేస్ యూకేకి కూడా సార్ అడ్వైజర్గా ఉన్నారనమాట. సో హీఈస్ ద ఫౌండర్ అండ్ డైరెక్టర్ ఆఫ్ ది ఇండో ఫ్రెంచ్ అకాడమిక్ అలయన్స్లో కూడా సారు వర్క్ చేస్తున్నారనమాట. సో ఇప్పుడు సార్ని మనకు ఉన్నటువంటి అనేక సందేహాలు ఏదైతే ఏవియేషన్ రిలేటెడ్ లేదా ఏరోస్పేస్ ఏరోనాటికల్ రిలేటెడ్ డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయో 1 by 1గా సరళంగా మీకు అర్థమయ్యే భాషలో నేను అడుగుతాను. సో వెరీ కామన్ ఇంగ్లీష్లో, సారు యూకే సిటిజన్ కాబట్టి సో వాళ్ళ యొక్క స్టైల్లో దానికి ఉన్నటువంటి ఆన్సర్లు అయితే సార్ చెప్పడం జరుగుతుంది. సో లెటెస్ వెల్కమ్ Dr. Ugur Guven sir to our studio. Welcome to our studio, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the first question, sir, what is aerospace engineering and how and why these days many students are asking double and triple times than CSC towards aerospace engineering? Particularly the Telugu crowd are, in fact, all the Indian students now very curious about aerospace engineering and aeronautical engineering. So why is this craze and what exactly this branch teaches and why this much craze to your branch?
Thank you for the question. Actually, aerospace engineering is very popular not only in India but also all across the world. The reason being, aerospace engineering is a very premium style engineering where the students can learn and do everything that a mechanical engineer can do. They can do everything that an electronics engineer can do. They can even do everything that a computer engineer can do, because we teach them a bit of everything so that they become very premium level engineers. Today, aerospace engineers don't work only in aerospace fields. Many automotive design companies hire aerospace engineers to create the final aerodynamic design of vehicles. Many of the industries have aerospace engineers who also work as process engineers. But more importantly, the sector of aerospace, which is addition of aero, which is aeronautical, that means everything related to flight of planes, jets, commercial jets, helicopters, UAVs, drones, is one part of aerospace. And the second part is space technology. So that includes everything related to rockets, satellites, propulsion systems, as well as defense technologies and even space missions. The whole world, we see a big increase in aerospace companies. We see a big increase in spending. Every country from United States to even small countries in Europe like Luxembourg, are spending a lot of money on aerospace sector because this is the future technology of the world. If sometimes students ask me at high school level, sir, which three fields you see are rising up? The first two fields I say aerospace and energy, because there's a lot of changes happening in the world. Unfortunately, if you ask my opinion as a professor, today a lot of computer engineers, computer scientists who take admission not only in India but also abroad, they won't be able to find jobs because there's so many of them. There are so many computer engineering students.
Huge in number.
Huge in number. Not only in India, same in Europe, same in Canada, same in United States, same in Asia. So the industry doesn't have that much demand anymore because there are too many of them. Whereas aerospace engineering is a niche field. There are a lot of aerospace companies in India as well as abroad that have ever-increasing number of projects, ever-increasing number of manufacturing facilities, ever-increasing development facilities. And they're always looking for good aerospace engineers who are good with competition, who are good with skills, who are good with making things and tweaking things. So because of that, the demand for aerospace engineering is growing worldwide. Especially Indian students are more advantageous because if you look at Indian students, they have a very strong science and math upbringing because of the board exams, because of the Indian's education system. So that also makes them uniquely more prepared for aerospace engineering programs. It is a difficult program. It's a very premium program. Like I said, I myself am an aerospace engineer. As an aerospace engineer, I can do any job of a mechanical engineer. I can do any job of a computer engineer. I could do any job of an electronics engineer because while I was studying, and it is the same similar curriculum that we have today, we learn a bit of everything, preparing us for becoming problem solutions.
Okay.
So, for example, there's a saying in English, this is not difficult, it's not rocket science.
Yeah, this is not rocket science.
But actually for us, it is rocket science. Because we are
actual rocket science you are doing.
We are actually doing rocket science. I have friends my classmates, now they work in banks as troubleshooters.
Oh.
Because and same thing I teach my students, we give that unique level of thinking. When there's a problem, how can you solve it? No matter how big the problem is. So a lot of my friends are working in different industries because, for us it is actually rocket science. We can solve anything, no matter how difficult. And I teach my students the same. No matter how difficult the problem may be, how to solve it.
Okay. Sir, actually, there is a lot of confusion, particularly with respect to southern states. Branch has been neglected, and there are like in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, we don't have even single college which is offering aerospace engineering, and we have few small colleges who they are, they are offering aeronautical engineering. Can you exactly differentiate between this aerospace engineering and aeronautical engineering? And why? What exactly, differences? Which one is having more prospects?
Of course. Thank you for the question. Actually, aeronautical engineering is a subset of aerospace engineering. As I said, when we say aerospace, it's actually a lot of sub-branches together. Aerospace engineer is also aeronautics engineer because you have to be able to do everything that an aeronautical engineer can do. Aeronautical engineer does what? He can design planes, he can design parts, he can test those parts, but it also includes space technologies. So when you study aerospace engineering, you also study aeronautical engineering, plus you also study space engineering. They're both combined into one. Plus, we also give, in all aerospace engineering courses, there's also part of avionics, electronic systems, control systems, microprocessors. We teach them programming languages. In AI, we teach them how to use artificial intelligence to design systems.
Okay.
Like many people don't do this. Many people think AI is just about chatbots. No, we actually teach them how to use specific AI tools, specific AI engineering tools to do simulations, to do analysis of components, to redesign the components, to test those efficiency of those components. So we also use AI very, very heavily in our curriculum because we also want to make sure our students are very ready for the next future generation. So aeronautical engineering is only one part of aerospace engineering. So the colleges which you mentioned, which offer aeronautical engineering, only offer the aeronautics part, but aerospace is bigger than
Bigger than
aeronautics.
Sir, as far as southern states are concerned, we are having one popular college in the private sector and one popular college in the government sector. The first one is IIST, Indian Institute of Space Technology, which is located in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. And the second one is, which was the oldest one with related to this aerospace, that was one of the private university, that is a Hindustani University.
Yes.
These two colleges, I think, are the prominent one in government and one in private sector. But because southern states actively indulge in computer science engineering and mechanical part, I mean, as per your observation of India, so why southern states are not focused? Is that the reason that aerospace is having less number of jobs, or is that aerospace engineering is a costly branch to establish, or being, as you said, it's a rocket science, our people might not have understand this, that's why they don't establish it? Which one is correct, sir?
First of all, as a dean and as a professor with experience in multiple countries across the world, I worked in every continent on earth. It's very easy to establish a computer science branch. Very, very easy. You just need computers, you just need some software, you need some codes, and you just need a classroom. You can easily, with just one lab, one classroom, you can run whole computer engineering courses. But in courses like aerospace engineering, you need facilities like wind tunnels where you put wind on objects and you measure how much of pressure it's developing on the objects, how much of friction is happening on the objects. For example, we have rocket propulsion labs where we do testing of small rocket propellers to see how much of a thrust they're able to create. There's also a lot of very advanced software that normally computer engineers don't use, that we use to test materials. So it requires a lot of infrastructure. It requires a lot of investment. Also requires very, very good teachers and professors, because to prepare the students of the future, you need to get the best teachers, best faculty. It's more easier to teach computer engineering because you just take a syllabus, you take the classroom, you take the lab, you just deploy it. So it's not that difficult. But courses like aerospace engineering, we have students who deal with robotics, we have students who are preparing projects for DRDO, we have students who are preparing their own mechanisms. So all of this requires a lot of mentorship and a lot of facilities, a lot of technologies. Even the classrooms that our students are having are very special classrooms, all with smart technologies inside to help them prepare for the future technology. But I think I've been interacting with a lot of Indian students. South Indian students are quite smart when it comes to making these things. Only thing is you have to mentor them properly. If you mentor the South Indian students, they are very good. They are actually hungry for application knowledge. They're very hungry. Oh, like I have students, they say, sir, no, you have to teach us how to do this. You have to teach us how to make this. They don't let me go home sometimes because they demand that I show them some new things. So they are very hungry for doing hands-on work. They're very hungry for true engineering work. They are very hungry for creation. They are very hungry for design. I think, if you ask my opinion, South Indian institutes should give more importance to aerospace engineering. It is going to become the next technology breaker for the next 10 to 50 years. It is already evolving very fast. By year 2030, the aerospace economy is going to be $1 trillion. $1 trillion. It's a huge amount of money. So I also have a lot of students who have also formed their own, as entrepreneurships, they have formed their own companies. There are a lot of students who have formed startups in India. I have a lot of students who have formed startups in Italy, in France, in Luxembourg, and they're all doing very successfully. I have a lot of advisory board positions in a lot of aerospace companies and organizations all across the world, including India. For example, Bellatrix Aerospace, which is a company in Bangalore. The CEO was my student. He's very successful now. He's preparing ion propulsion systems to Israel. They have now opened the office in the United States. So there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of opportunities. And South Indian students are the best. They are very ready, very hungry for knowledge. They are very, very hungry for knowledge. So I love working with them. I love mentoring them. Only issue sometimes, language problem can be a barrier because, English is not that well.
Once they come to Delhi, actually this language barrier generally will go away.
Of course, after first year, they are usually very good
Okay.
with the English. So I think more institutes should open aerospace engineering, but it requires a lot of investment, and it's hard to find good faculty in this particular field.
Okay. Sir, one more question, because our people generally want to take CSC. And nowadays there is a clear change in the mindset towards multidisciplinary approach. As you clearly mentioned, aerospace engineering is definitely a multi-branch approach.
Of course.
Can you briefly demarcate? I mean, like, suppose how much percentage of different different disciplines involved in aerospace engineering, like aero, how much percentage, space technology, how much percentage, and related to electronics, how much percentage involved? As you said, there is some part of robotics is also there, and you are also incorporating AI in that.
Of course.
Can you, briefly explain us like how this demarcation will go during this 4 year journey?
Okay, it's a very good question. Thank you. First of all, I want to say this. As I said in the beginning of the interview, an aerospace engineer can do everything a CSE engineer can do. Like if they want to work in computer science field, even after aerospace engineering, they'll be hired more faster than CSE engineers because it's more premium engineering. So the first year when they come, obviously we first start with Introduction to Aerospace Engineering course. They obviously get physics, they get mathematics because these are the core courses that's required. We teach them to program, computer programming, in first semester. We start teaching them languages like Python, C++, to prepare them for the future things. Because in aerospace engineering, we also do a lot of coding to solve engineering problems. So that's one of the first things I teach. We teach AI applications in the first semester. Then we start teaching other fundamental courses like aircraft materials. In their first year, they have introduction to electrical systems, then they have introduction to electronic systems, then they have introduction to microprocessors. So there are also a lot of electronic courses. Side by side, every semester, they get at least one electrical electronics course, they get one mechanical course, they get one computer course, plus they also get the aerospace courses and the science courses like physics, math, chemistry, thermodynamics, heat transfer. So demarcation is they get something from everything. Why? Because when they graduate as aerospace engineers, they have to solve problems, multidisciplinary problems. So if they don't understand electronics, they may not be able to solve the problem. If they don't understand structures, they may not be able to solve the problem. If they cannot write a code or use AI tools, they may not be able to solve the problem. That's why we try to teach them of everything. Hence, this is something I need to tell for students who are wanting to take aerospace engineering. It's a very, very intensive course as compared to CSE. If CSE students do 5 hours of work every day, aerospace engineers have to do 12 hours of work every day. But this is why when they graduate, they get good jobs, high pay, and through, for example, in the university I represent, I make sure all my students are 100% placed, provided they fulfill all the academic requirements properly.
Sir, actually, I came to know that GD Goenka is offering along with aerospace engineering. So you are also offering CPL license in association with one of the USA's schools. I mean, FTOs are flying schools. So what was that? And can you explain briefly about how these are being merged together? Because flying is a different ball game, and aerospace engineering itself is a huge bucket of a chunk of subjects.
Correct.
So how you are integrating both of them? How the student can cope up with the DGCA approved licenses, or when he goes to some other country according to their national laws and all, how you are incorporating those subjects, how your teachings will help the students in to become a commercial pilot in USA.
So this program is called BTech Aerospace Engineering with Pathway to Pilot Program. It's basically this. In the first 3 years, students study 3 years in India at GD Goenka University. And in their final year, we have partnered up with a flight school, and we have partnered up with an aviation company. What happens is in their final year, we send them to USA, to Florida. There's a flight school that is a good partner of us. It's only one of the 3 flight schools in the United States who can give an F1 visa, because Not all flight schools are authorized to give F1 visa. So they do, in their final year, instead of being in India, they're in Florida, and they do 1 year of training. In end of this 1 year of training, they get their PPL, which is private pilot license. They get their CPL, which is commercial pilot license. They get their single engine type rating. They get their multi-engine type rating. They get their nighttime flying instruments rating, which means they can fly in nighttime or they can fly with fog. And they also get their flight instructor rating. So they get very valuable 6 licenses in their final year. So when they complete this year in US, it's 4 years, right? 3 years in India, 1 year there. They get their aerospace engineering degree, plus they also get their 6 licenses. Next day, as soon as they get 6 licenses and the aerospace engineering degree, next day we put them to work. So if they graduate on Friday, they start work on Monday. It's 18 months of flight work, more like an internship. They get paid though for every hour they fly. We make them accumulate their flight hours because like driving a car, more you drive, more you become experienced, and more you become self-confident.
More practical, more experience you will get, more comfortable they will get.
More comfortable they will get. So we make them fly up to 1,500 hours. So some of them can finish this in 1 year, some of them can finish this in 1.5 years, but they get paid. They are not flying for free. They have a job.
Is it possible to fly for 1,500 in 1.5 years, sir?
Yes, of course. Because when you say flight hours, 1 flight hour is equal to 3 hours actually, because 1 hour of pre-flight, 1 hour of flight,
1 hour of okay, understood, sir. Total 3 hours.
So if you are flying
that, it is around 500 actual hours.
Actual hours, exactly. So you multiply it by 3 as per the international regulations.
Understood,
of FAA.
So taking off, landing, and this actual flying together, put together, it is 1,500 hours.
Put together, it's 1,500 hours. And everything has to be logged in the student's logbook because they will have to keep this for the rest of their lives until the day they retire. It's a good program, and it comes with 100% placement guarantee in international airlines when they complete those 1,500 hours. 100% placement in airlines like Etihad Airlines, Fly Dubai, Wizz Air, which is very popular, like our Indigo in Europe. They can also get absorbed in American Airlines if they are really, really good. In fact, there's a special category of visa. It's called Special Talent Visa, which is given for pilot students who are becoming pilots. If they apply for American Airlines, any of them, like Delta, United, American Airlines, etc., they're also eligible for a green card. But of course, they have to be at the top of their training to be selected for this. So it's a good program because what happens is many pilots after 10, 15 years, they don't want to become pilots anymore because, when you're a pilot, you are flying at night, you're flying on the weekends, you're flying on the holidays. It's a tough life, especially when you have a family. It's not so easy to be with them. So then they want to go back to the industry. So because they have an engineering degree, they can also work in the aerospace industry, especially Airbus and Boeing hire, if you have both engineer and a CPL license, they hire you right away because they need people to test their aircraft, they need people to improve their aircraft. So there's a lot of job opportunities for those who have both engineering and pilot license.
Okay, sir. Suppose if a student from India studied at GD Goenka University for 3 years, 1 year he went for Florida and he has done all the certifications. Later on, he worked for 1,500 hours as per the logbook and it is completed.
Correct.
Assume, sir. So if he come back to India, so what might be the process? Just he has to, that 15 hours translation is okay, that he has to once again come across all the DGCA formalities and all?
No, there's a process for converting FAA license into DGCA license. So again, that's why that logbook is very important because DGCA comes and takes a look at the logbook, makes sure that 1,500 hours have been logged. Because when you, as per international norms, when you have 1,500 hours, you have something called Airline Transport Pilot License, ATPL.
Yes, ATPL.
So when they come to India, they will also have their ATPL. They won't just come with a CPL. They will also come back with ATPL.
Means they can become directly, not the first officer, directly you can become a captain.
They could, yes, exactly, because they are now at that level. They are not at CPL level. They are at ATPL level. But my recommendation is for my students, and I have a lot of students who are going to Florida this year, when we are giving them jobs in international airlines, work for 2 years at least. Work in Etihad, work in Emirates, work in Gulf Air, work in Wizz Air, because Some students say we want to come back to India because of parents and other, situations.
Emotional problems.
But I tell them, please work 2 years in an international airline, because when you come to India after those 2 years of experience,
You'll get a lot of salary.
you will get much higher salary than entering directly into the Indian airlines. So I explain this to my students. Yes, because they have ATPL, they will be grabbed very fast by all the domestic airlines.
Yeah,
in
because that
India.
is very much demanded.
There's much demanded, but if they can work at least 2 years, because we find them jobs. If they can work at least 2 years, when they come back, they'll get even more salary. So it's a good investment.
Sir, what might be the cost for this entire process, this Indian GD Goenka as well as the Florida expenditure together?
So for GD Goenka, there are some special prices for South Indian students. We give a lot of special discounts and scholarships, because I see that South Indian students are very smart, and I want to get more South Indian students. Normally, the program for the university part is more than 4.5-5 lakhs per year, but we give more than 50% scholarship to South Indian students, only to South Indian students, not to other parts of India. The CPL part in the final year is roughly around $80,000 to $90,000. So today, looking at the dollar rate, I would say 80 to 90 lakhs. But the good news is, as soon as you graduate, you start earning money on day one. As I said, the moment you get your CPL and those 6 licenses, next day we put you to work. We have tied up with aviation companies that give you a job offer before you even join the program. So it's in your hand. So immediately, as soon as you graduate, you start earning your money. You start earning your 1,500 hours. So it's a good investment. In fact,
generally, how much will be the starting salary for them, sir, when they join in international airlines?
When they start
during that 1,500 hours, I am particular.
During the 1,500 hours, they will get paid by flight hours. But again, one flight hour is 3 hours. So if you have like 5 hours of flight every day, it's like 7 hours of flight, pre-flight and post-flight, including that. So roughly they get about $40 to $50 an hour.
Okay.
So if they have a 5-hour flight, it's 7. So 7 times 50, $350. So they can easily make 5,000 to 6,000 USD per month while they're completing their 1,500 hour training.
Okay.
That's why it's a good deal, because $5,000 today is like 5 lakhs.
5 lakhs per month.
Right, roughly because of the conversion
because
rates.
of the dollar fluctuation.
So they will already be earning this much while they're doing their completing their 1,500 hours. The moment they go to international airlines, they will get minimum $7,000-8,000 per month immediately.
Okay.
As they join these international airlines. And then after 1 year, immediately there will be a hike in salary. After 2 years, there'll be a big hike in salary, because it is like more experience you get. Experience means flight hours.
Yeah.
More flight hours you get paid. And today, captain pilots in international airlines make about $25,000 a month, which is like 25 lakhs a month, which is a good money, obviously. Of course, it takes 10 years to come to that level.
Even though after 10 years also, 25 lakhs per month is a very, very huge thing for any.
Of course, it's a good investment.
For anyone, even not only for Indian, even for any international nation.
For internationals, it's very, very good. Sometimes I say I should have become a pilot instead of being a professor. So I am more than happy to mentor students and make them realize their dreams, because we also have to give back to the society. It's not just about
realize.
I'm well settled now. I have houses in multiple countries, so I enjoy helping students reach their dreams. It's a very good career. It's a tough career, because you have to fly at nights, weekends, holidays. It's part of the job. That's why they get paid so much. But it's also a very rewarding career.
Sir, do these global scenarios like Iran and US war, so because of this diesel fluctuations, I mean, like aviation turbine oil, or what do you say, I don't know. So this aviation, is there any change in this price, or are you still continuing with the same price?
For now, yes, we are continuing with the same price because of the good connections that I personally have with these flight schools, because they're also looking for good students. And I always tell them, like, Indian students, especially South Indian students, are very good students. So it's also prestige for them, when they have good students flying in their schools particularly. Yes, aviation fuel is going up. It's a special fuel called kerosene that aircraft use. But I do think, based upon my life experience, Soon this conflict will be over and things will go back to their price. But I have requested the flight providers to keep the prices same for my Indian students.
Okay. So I also came to know that despite having this beautiful program, you also started an other program in CPL arena. That is nothing but you are having associated with Redbird Aviation to make comfort of the Indian students to study CPL within India itself. So what is that association, sir? What are the highlights of that particular program?
Thank you for the question. Some Indian students and parents came to me and said, "Sir, we don't want our child to go abroad because as you know, some Indian parents are sensitive
Yes,
about their children.
they are emotional towards their kids.
They're very emotional towards their kids, and I try to convince them very hard because international exposure is obviously very important, and jobs are very good, the salaries are very good. They say, "Sir, we are not concerned about salary. We want them to stay in India." So we have created this special BSc Aviation program where they get to earn their DGCA approved CPL license and an aviation degree in 3 years. This is also applicable for students who may not be so good in math and physics because when we take students for aerospace engineering program, it's very rigorous, it's very hard.
And mathematical oriented. Mathematics and physics are the two important subjects.
Mathematics and physics are the two important things. So many of the students don't qualify for aerospace engineering. They want to study,
But they cannot qualify.
but they cannot qualify. And we reject because also we don't want students who will not be able to.
They should not suffer later.
They should not suffer later because then they will go into depression. So I personally take interviews of all my students. If I don't feel they're up to it, I reject them. In fact, I reject 6 students out of 10 usually. So this is perfect also for those students who are not so good in math and physics, but who also want to become pilot and aviation specialists. It's a 3-year program. In the first semester, which starts in August, until December, they take their ground classes. So they're on campus, they're studying all their required ground classes. And in the second semester, they start flying right away. So from January, I send them to airfields. We have 6 airfields across the country. In roughly 3 months, they accumulate about 30 hours of flight in the first semester because it's much slower because we have to teach them everything from scratch. So before they take their first flight, we have to spend at least 3-4 hours, one-on-one with the student to make sure student is ready to fly. Of course, the first flights are with the flight instructor. We're not going to give aircraft to students without having the experience. So after they complete 3 months of flight training, they come back to the school. They do another 3 months, 1 semester of academic courses. Then they go for 1 semester of flight training. They come back, they do 1 semester of academic courses. They go for flight training. Final semester is completely flight training because they have to complete 200 plus hours of flight training for DGCA. It's a requirement. And of course, they have to pass their DGCA exams. In the end of this BSc Aviation with CPL program, they get an aviation degree. Plus, they also get a CPL
license.
And the reason this is important is because there are a lot of changing regulations. ICAO is the organization that does the international flight rules. It's International Civil Aviation Authority. Like DGCA, this is for the whole world. And right now what we see is with many airlines, they don't allow you to fly to international destinations unless you also have a university degree. In fact, we get a lot of Indian pilots who are coming to us and saying, "Sir, can we take night courses or weekend courses to take a degree?" Because now it's becoming a requirement, especially from 2030 onwards. It's going to be very hard to be placed in an airline company unless you also have a corresponding degree. So this can be an engineering degree or it can be an aviation degree.
Yes, sir.
So this is also good for those students to fulfill this requirement because otherwise they won't be able to fly to international destinations after a while. And because they also have an aviation degree, they can also work in the aviation sector. They can become airport managers, they can become airline managers, they can become in charge of air transport logistics. So it's a full degree because we teach them also aviation law, we also teach them aviation management, we teach them airport logistics, we teach them air transport logistics. So it's a very comprehensive course. At the end of 3 years, they have their CPL, they have their aviation degree, they are good to go.
There is a superstition in southern state that aerospace engineering, excluding CPL, there might be lesser opportunities or lower packages with respect to their early joinings. So is it true, sir? To what extent GD Goenka is providing placements to exclusive aerospace engineering students. So, can you please brief about it?
So if you compare two standard students, one of CSE, one of aerospace, because GD Goenka also has CSE programs, obviously. Aerospace engineering students will always get placed at a higher package than CSE students. Because as I said in the beginning of the interview, an aerospace engineer can do everything a CSE engineer can do. It is a mini subset.
Yes.
They can do the job of a mechanical engineer, they can do the job of an electronics engineer, they can do the job of a systems engineer. So naturally, when companies hire, they will hire one with the more premium education. So when you compare them to CSE engineers, aerospace engineers, not only in GD Goenka but all over the world, will always get a higher package.
Generally, I mean, like that is only in numbers if we speak. So, what the history says, I mean, like says that your passed out students are alumni. I mean, like how much, what kind of jobs they are getting, and what might be the packages they are. As GD Goenka is attracting the different companies, how you are doing?
So we have tie-up with most of the larger aerospace companies in India. For example, if a CSE student gets, I'm going to say monthly, though in India it's usually talked about
monthly
yearly,
calculation.
but in monthly calculation, let's say a CSE student starts a job with 20,000, 25,000, 30,000 rupees a month. My students start with 70, 80,000 rupees a month, even as a junior engineer. So there's a huge gap between.
So you are saying that 8 to 10 lakhs is the base package
for yearly, yeah.
For yearly. So it is the calculation. So what is your message to the southern students and parents to welcome GD Goenka and to join aerospace engineering? I mean, like, so I forgotten one more point, sir. Because nowadays another branch is also gaining, and you are also heading the same department, that is energy engineering.
Yes.
Can you tell few words and why suddenly this branch has been emerged as new sector? I mean, like energy sector is there in India from ages, but now this branch is also gaining momentum in terms of admissions or in terms of people's interest. Why is it so? And can you tell few things about this energy engineering?
Of course. Again, if you ask me the two biggest growing sectors in the world, not only India, but the whole world, one is aerospace, very large growth, and number two, energy. The reason being, as you know, the society becomes more advanced, as companies become more advanced, as production facilities increase across the world, the demand for energy increases more than ever.
Yes.
Especially now.
Because of this AI. Huge
AI data centers are pulling so much energy together right now. Even in the United States, some AI data centers are being put in smaller locations because big locations, there's a saturation already. And I was just in the US just less than a week ago, and they were not having enough power. Some towns are having electricity power problems in the United States, which is never unheard of for the last 50, 60 years, because the AI centers are drawing so much power. So because of that, there's more demand for energy engineering more than ever, because the demand for power is growing so much. The whole world is so hungry for power, so hungry for energy. It's creating a lot of ripples in the industry. When we say energy engineering, energy engineers can specialize in also different subfields. Like in the energy engineering program we offer, we give specialization in renewable energy engineering. That means wind power, solar power, hydropower. This is all part of renewable energy engineering. They can choose to specialize in that. They can choose to specialize in nuclear engineering, because there's a lot of technological changes happening in the world. The Americans and the French, as well as the Chinese, are working on something called the fusion reactor.
Yes,
fusion is the process of the sun. It's like creating an artificial sun on the planet.
Creating artificial and generating energy.
And from 2030 onwards, these countries are saying we're going to have fusion reactors commercially available, producing power on Earth. This is going to be a big game changer, because it will bring down the electricity prices drastically all across the world. So they can also choose to specialize in nuclear energy. The third area of specialization we offer is for some students who want to work in classic energy fields like oil and gas, because that's also energy.
Yeah, petroleum engineering.
Petroleum engineering. They also can specialize in petroleum engineering. Or we offer a fourth specialization that no one else does: green energy engineering, hydrogen.
Yes, where the AP is concentrating main on that.
Clean energy, carbon markets. And we also give them a special certification, because many of these buildings, many of these facilities, factories have to get green energy certification now as per UN rules. So we also offer this specialization. both sectors are growing hand by hand together. Both aerospace engineering as well as energy engineering is growing a lot, and there is more demand than right now is possible to supply. I was with the CEO of a very major, one of the big top 3 brands of India when it comes to engineering branches, and he was telling me they have started a big renewable energy power plants all across India. And the CEO said, we are not able to find people who can do the work. We have to train them for 1 year before they can start working for us. So I said, sir, I have energy engineers who are ready to go. They are already trained by everything, because I also send them for international internships. So they are very ready to go. They are saying we are not able to find, we need...
Because there is no such course in India. Majority in southern India, we are
very
having
few.
only one college, that is SRM KTR campus. That is with the nomenclature of BTech renewable energies.
So-
they are not also included all any other subsets.
So they say we need thousands of engineers right now, but there's very few universities, even in North India, that offer energy engineering.
Do you have any similarities between this triply, I mean electrical and electronics engineering branch and energy engineering? So do you have any similarities, and how much syllabus matches to both of these?
Some of the syllabus matches because they have to be good with control systems, because all of the energy engineering, whether you are dealing with renewable energy or nuclear energy or oil and gas or green energy, you have to be able to control the processes. Some of students who are studying energy engineering want to become specialists in power plants, for example.
Yeah, that is
There's
true.
also a huge demand for that. They're not able to find people. So in energy engineering also you have to take a lot of electronic courses, you have to take a lot of electrical engineering courses. So similar to aerospace, but even more than aerospace you have to take, because it's part of the curriculum. So they have a lot of job opportunities, not only in energy engineering, but in power plant engineering and electrical systems. They are ready to go. And no matter how many students I teach, still there is more demand than I can ever supply. So I think, especially colleges in South India, should also think of offering this program, because this is the next generation that's going to define our human civilization, human society. There's only so many energy engineering students I can teach. And I've spoken to CEOs of all 3 major companies. They are ready to hire. They're looking for people right now.
So finally, your message to South Indian students who are really aspiring to become aerospace engineers and energy engineers. So as department head, you just say welcome message to our South Indian students to GD Goenka University.
Well, I really welcome all the South Indian students. I've been working with South Indian students for a while now, and they're quite smart, they're quite good, they are very, very, very creative. Only thing is they have to have special mentoring to. In fact, I tell all my students, South Indian students, first, when you come on the first semester, I will first format your brains, and I will install a new operating system, because I teach them how to think, how to be creative, how to be innovative, how to make something. So because of that, I really welcome South Indian students. They are very pleasure to work with. They are very disciplined. They are very respectful. When you tell them to work hard, they work hard. They actually say, sir, like, you tell us what to do, we will do. We just want to make sure you have a good career. And that also motivates me as a professor, because when a South Indian student is saying, please teach me more, please guide me more, it's also for me to be intellectually satisfied about. So I welcome all South Indian students to GD Goenka University. I'm the Dean of School of Aerospace and Energy Studies. Whether you want to come for aerospace engineering, whether you want to come for Pathway to Pilot program abroad, whether you want to come to BSc Aviation with CPL, whether you want to come for energy engineering, we are more than happy to receive the South Indian students. If you work hard with me, if you follow everything I tell you to do, I'm going to give you, as a personal guarantee, as a professor who's been working for 35 years in the international industry, and you guys can look me up. I'm on the international advisory board of multiple companies in India as well as abroad. Just write my name and you will see it in Google right away. I will make sure that 100% you are placed in a good company, you are placed in a good opportunity, because my task at this age right now is to make sure youngsters like you can reach your dreams. So I am more than happy to help you realize and reach your dreams.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming to our studio and giving your valuable suggestion to our southern students and parents.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dhanyawad.
Thank you.